it will take time. In the Greek, there is no and between alpha and omega. In the Greek, it's alpha, omega. It means I am in a realm that time has no authority. So I can interact with what you call past and present at the same time. Now, you see, that's the same realm in which faith is domiciled. When you go to the book of Hebrews chapter 11, you will see the great introduction. Now faith is an eternal now from eternity. Oh, you're not with me. Okay, how many of you know Pastor Benny Hinn? You know him? Okay. Okay. You don't know DSTV. You don't know TBN. Do you know TBN? So he's on a show on TBN called This Is Your Day. He used to be on I don't know if he's still on that show. And it takes 2 weeks of post-production for any edition of the series that he wants to broadcast to get to the studio. It takes 2 weeks. So one of those days, he was not available to go to the studio to make a tape for production. They called him, he was on a crusade ground. He said, use an old tape. So the productions manager took a tape from the archive and slotted it. It was when the tape began to roll and it was already broadcasting that the manager now saw that professionally the tape he chose was not supposed to be chosen, because he gave a specific word of knowledge about a lady that was called Phoebe that was sitting on a yellow couch and she was diagnosed of cancer that he gave a word of knowledge about and ministered to. Well, it was already rolling and he could not change it. After the program, then Phoebe now calls that I'm the Phoebe that was on the couch. I was just diagnosed with cancer. When the word went out, I felt like this, and I'm going to go conduct a test. Are you with me? So the question is, was that an old tape? I'm asking you, is that an old tape? See, the tape was manufactured in the realm of Alpha Omega. Most of the tapes that you heard that blessed you were old tapes, but they were not old to your spirit. You had fresh encounters, real-time encounters from things that you felt were old. There is a realm where time counts for nothing. That was what Jesus was trying to tell him. I come from a timeless zone. Because the revelation he had previously was Jesus of Nazareth, revelation that was time-based. And as long as he held that view, he couldn't write a book that would connect the past with the present and the future. He accessed that prophetic grace, and the evidence of that grace is what we see in the book of Revelation. He wrote about things, about nuclear weapons. There was no way he could know about those things. So he wrote it in the language of his time. Somebody needs to ask God for grace today. I don't know if you feel it the way I do, but we need to ask God for grace. And I'd like you to rise on your feet. We want to ask God for grace. We want to ask him for grace. Oh, are you here with me? I would like us to go before the Lord. Your capacity will never change until another measure of grace is handed over to you. If it is true that you are growing in grace, if somebody leaves you, maybe somebody travels and you didn't meet the person for another 8 months, and the moment he comes back to see you in your element, you will wonder, what is happening to this man? It is grace that multiplies. So my elder sister stays in Canada. We had an event in Houston, so she came from Canada for the event. And the ushers put her in front. And She sat before her younger brother. Meanwhile, those days she was the priest of the house, praying everywhere and all of that. And she marveled. What changed is grace. It's grace that changed. Can we labor before God right now and ask him, multiply the grace, multiply the grace on my life, multiply the grace on my ministry, multiply the grace on my intercessory capacity, multiply the grace, multiply the grace, multiply the grace. Call upon his name right now. Call upon his name. Sanobelaya Soleman Bros Kafide Ese Kelia Bure Masika Bentola Yahaman Seke Kobos Ezehide Brecontese Sakoda Iso Sanabonda Yande Seloboko Likobranda Kura Naske Bande Ietos Keto Belo Sonde Branta Babogodoli Igai Kompa Maskito Breska Fata Bunda Kapalemani Ietos Kete Igo Bamos Ketelia Bramaturi Basanto Iabo Sinta. Multiply, 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 multiply the grace that is upon my life. Multiply the grace. For with great power gave the apostles witness of the resurrection of Jesus, and great grace was upon them. Oh, multiply that grace. I've seen a little grace here. Can you multiply it? I've seen a little ability here. Can you increase it? I've seen a dimension of possibility here. Can you increase it? Somebody cry to him. Lo silebo koria basinda. Yako sesele. Yako mantolia brisco falabata. Escompa menanzuse. Ekobes kataminaito. Escobrele casalande. Ikabranta babode kasketa. Iskoba maite. Iskoba maite. Iskoba maite. Akainta komba. Ikabesco tele. Labrokote bakusketali. Allaraba supre. Rahate konda. Iskoba mende. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Are you in the music ministry? You can ask him. You can ask him and say to him, multiply, 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 multiply the grace. Multiply the grace. Rosketo bondo bobosi lekotende hele abresko velamenaita bresko bambela kuse akabanda babodega tale eskobenaite ba eskombola ikamasketa bode elekadi Yailo Moskete, Yailo Kodebas, and he gave some to be apostles, and some to be prophets, and some to be pastors, and some to be evangelists, and some to be teachers. There is a grace. It is a grace that is upon your life that determines your operation, that determines your capacity. Grace is what we see. Oh, see, Mikabonda Bascuvelaite, Esosela Brante Kuzamandale, Labrocopeta Mina Gesali, Lahai Son Samanda, Ikabeso Sele Condeli, Ebrocote Bacande Baboria, Aseminante, Asemina Kabalaita, Rocosila, Apeto Combe Babuskete, Asaita Combe Bacatala, Ikabranta Cose, Rakamenso Sele. Rakabalatolia, Rakamanzanta, Escobemaite, Ratete, Zamakate Bodo, every scompela, Rakabosa Minatali. Oh my God. Roya si makabo. I want to grow in grace. I want grace to be multiplied on my life. Yes, so combelite, Bades Kito Bokola is compelesi Rakabonda Zimatale, Ekabanda Baboria is compela Monsabi. Thank you. Sasama kapalaitele losketa brisco fanteli amenzo ikobres kavaito egobe matia egobe masantabo rakadosi malaite yabos laskote bre lobri akabonde samenaite labo santa baboria. Oh, we give you praise. We give you praise. In the name of Jesus.